why does Bitcoin exist? Guys, you've heard about Bitcoin, I'm sure that you have. And if you haven't, what is Bitcoin and why did it come about? Well, you probably all remember the global financial crisis. I recall being in London and trading throughout that period, and it was a very good period to be a trader if you knew how to short sell. I also saw the negative side of that, and that was some of the guys that I was trading with about to retire and seeing a lot of their retirement savings being absolutely wiped out. What it did around the world was truly shocking, and what occurred after that was even more shocking. We didn't see any convictions. No one went to jail. It was just a matter of people walking on and moving on with their lives. But that wasn't what happened to the people about to retire or already retired. They had to go back into the workforce. It was a really hard time for a lot of people, and the ramifications of that GFC is still being felt today. And it was horrible. Bitcoin came about because a number of people, well, we think a number of people, or one person or something, Satoshi Nakamoto is the name, and you're going to hear more of that. They decided that it wasn't such a good idea to have all of this power within these massive international conglomerates. Now, these are called banks and financial institutions, of course. That's what really the crux of the financial crisis was all about. They thought it was a good time to take power back to the people and create a currency and a system whereby we, the people, owned it, i.e. it wasn't owned by a central governance. This is where Bitcoin began. And it really was there, again, to give us some power, to not have a reliance on the trust that we had to have that these bankers were doing the right things by us. Now, they didn't take responsibility, so why should we trust them? Welcome Bitcoin, a global system that was invaluable, incapable of making mistakes, ultimate accountability, and it's controlled by you and me, the people. Effectively, Bitcoin was a bit of a middle finger to the banks following on from the devastation the global financial crisis caused. But you might be asking yourself, what is Bitcoin? Well, it's essentially a currency. It's not the only use of the blockchain, but it's one we're going to use as an example right now. Why do we need another currency? Why do we need another Australian dollar, another US dollar? Why do we need another sterling? Well, we don't. They already exist. What we do need, however, is something that cannot be counterfeited. It cannot be printed recklessly like we're seeing with the use of quantitative easing, where they just print more and more and more money, therefore devaluing it. How does value get derived? Well, using the US dollar as an example, it used to be underpinned by gold. So a certain amount of currency was pinned by a certain amount of gold. Now, of course, all this changed quite some time ago, and it's underpinned or issued by the Federal Reserve. But bottom line is this: why would we not have governments issue their own form of currency or put currency on the blockchain? It's simply because there needs to be supply and demand. There needs to be a value to the currency for it to be long-term. Now, as I said before, quantitative easing is printing lots and lots of money. With Bitcoin, there is a finite amount of Bitcoin. There are no more to be made. They can't be counterfeited. They can't be changed. What is there today will always be there regardless of anything. It's truly supply and demand, a currency that is underpinned by value and scarcity. It's the way a currency should be. So you're probably asking, why can't there be more made? I mean, it's internet money, right? Why can't they make more? Well, just the same as when you flick the switch in your house and the power comes on. I don't know how it comes on, it just does. We trust this actually works. Now, I know you're probably wondering, well, I want more detail than that. And you can go and find more detail, be my guest. But that's not what we're here to do today. I'm here to give you an understanding of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and blockchain, how it can be used, and why you should be getting interested in this space and doing more research. Don't trust me. Go ahead and have a look at some of the quotes from some of these amazing people that have revolutionized the way things are done around the world. Some of the biggest names in entrepreneurship and creative business, such as Bill Gates, Steve Wozniak, Richard Branson, Peter Thiel, and Eric Schmidt. These are people far smarter than I. Maybe not you, but definitely me. Now, I don't invest because people tell me to invest in something. But when I do see the brightest minds of our generation all speaking positively about this emerging technology, I know I couldn't look away. Can you?